Hey guys, I wanted to come on here because after watching a few clips and everything, even as recently as this morning, I wanted to talk about something that's kind of really been on my mind. You see, I'm a sports fan. I've been a long-time sports fan, always have been. I used to, according to one of my uncles, I used to be able to read the sports page and be able to tell people the stats well, not just the stats, but be able to tell them, how this works or, how this, is done. Like, where a team is in the standings and this and that. And that's probably true. It's probably true. I mean, just as much as I love wrestling, I kept a lot of tabs on sports. In fact, it was one of the first sections I would always want to read. But anyway, speaking of sports, there's something that really has been entangling. Like I said, there's been something that's been entangling the world of sports lately. And that is the fact that it seems that in 2 out of the 4 most popular professional sports in the world, that being the NFL and Major League Baseball, no offense to the NHL, no offense to the MLS, no offense to the WNBA, nothing like that. No offense to any other professional sports teams or leagues, men or women. No offense. But in 2 of the most popular, right at the top, it seems that recently, especially this past year, if not the past several years, they've been linked to a lot of scandals. The NFL is no stranger to this, especially with the New England Patriots. You got the Spygate, you got the Deflategate, and now you got what would be known as Spygate 2, the video photographer. And what he did, the videographer, if you will. And, it's almost like if New England couldn't, put the foot in the mouth or step on hot coals enough, or whatever you want to call it. If they couldn't burn any more bridges any more than they can, now all of a sudden they're going through a situation very similar to what they had done before. Now, some people are coming out and giving their thoughts on the whole situation. Some people are not too thrilled. I mean, heck, the video that was presented basically has the Cincinnati Bengals security saying, look, man, telling the New England Patriots videographer, video recorder, or videographer, if you want to call him that, hey, it's too late, the damage is done. Because he was supposed to be like, what do they call him, a anchor scout or something? And that wasn't what he was doing. He wasn't doing his job. Instead, what he was doing was recording the Bengals sidelines for what? For signals, signs, reading lips? Who knows? Now, the Patriots have come out and at first denied this. Belichick has denied this and all that. But recently they've also admitted that, yeah, we take responsibility for what happened. But we didn't know it was going to happen or something like that. I don't know. And then here's the thing. You take this and then you add it to all the other scandals and accusations that they have piled against them. And it's like, should the Patriots be punished? We'll get into that in a moment. But there's another thing as well. I mentioned Major League Baseball, right? Well, Major League Baseball is not innocent in any of this either. No, it's not connected to New England or anything like that, but it's very similar. Now, MLB throughout its history has had its list of scandals, no doubt. The most notably being the Black Sox situation, or whatever that was, in 1918. So now, fast forward basically 100 years later, and you got something not as bad, but could be looked at as being on the same levels. And that's the Houston Astros. You see, everybody was behind the Astros back in 2017. They were behind them. They wanted them to win a World Series. Everybody was behind them. Everybody wanted to see them beat Los Angeles. And that is true. The Dodgers have their fan base all over the country, don't get me wrong. But there was a majority of other fans that outnumbered them that wanted to see the Astros beat them. And they did. They did. But then all of a sudden, something happened. News broke. And what did news break of? The Houston Astros, using technology, camera technology, videographing technology, video taking, if you will, through the center field, through the outpost of the center field, the dugout, what have you, signals, signs, noises, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the Houston Astros have been outed for basically cheating. Yeah. Okay, so if you don't know what I mean, here's the thing. I can't really tell it as well as, let's say, a Stephen A. Smith can. But basically, Houston had a camera in center field that would basically send video of the signals of the pitcher of the opposing team over to the dugout, over to the Astros dugout. And they would basically bang a trash can or whatever they did to give their fellow players and coaching staff the idea of, okay, this guy's going to pitch this, have him bat this way. So, or have him not swing, or whatever. So because of that, the Astros have been outed. Their general manager, their coach, their head coach, if you will, their manager period, have been suspended, have been fired by put it this way, the owner of the Astros have fired the general manager and the manager period, as well as the MLB has suspended them. And now Alex Cora, who was with the Red Sox, has been let go or has resigned due to the fact that he was part of this whole situation. And then you got other players turned managers like Carlos Beltran and a few others that could also, if not all, linked to this situation because they played for the Astros at that time. And now you have to wonder what the future is going to be after this whole thing has been, brought to light. And then on top of that, speaking of the Red Sox, Alex Cora, who was with the Astros when they won, then went to Boston, helped them win the following year, and was a major part of this whole situation. People are now kind of bringing the Red Sox into the equation by saying they did something similar. If not, maybe not as bad, but they did something that's similar. So the overall question, when you take a look at what the Astros have been outed by, what the Red Sox could potentially be outed by, and what New England, as far as the NFL has done, you have to ask yourself, what kind of punishment is severe enough? Is severe enough to basically get the message across that cheating will not be tolerated? What kind of severe punishment? Now, some people, like let's say Stephen A. Smith, have said that they would rather, that one of the things they would see, even though they know it may not happen, is for the Astros World Series title to be revoked. In other words, become null and void. Be like it never happened, and maybe hand it over to the Los Angeles Dodgers saying you're the rightful champs. You're the rightful champs because you got cheated out of this. And the same could be said for Boston. If Boston gets outed for doing something similar, the Dodgers, by default, and by default, if you will, or by forfeit, or null and voidness, could potentially 2 years in a row become World Series champions. And it'll be like, and here's the thing, yeah, they did play for it, they did play to try to win it. And I'm wondering if that was my sister that just drove by. But like I said, they played to try to win it. But again, the question is, what is the severe punishment? Like I said, like I was saying, before I paused it right there, a lot of people feel, like Stephen A. Smith does, that the Astros should have the title revoked, null and voided. And the Red Sox could potentially could follow them in that happening. But if that happens, then what? The World Series never happened that year? Or those years? The World Series was non-existent for those years? That might be the case. Or what could happen as a result is, the Dodgers, by forfeit, if you will, or by having the World Series titles revoked from both teams, would become two-time champions. And even though they did play, that's where I stopped at, even though they did play for those championships and played hard, basically, even in defeat, they would become the world champions, even in defeat. Because of why? Because they were cheated out of those titles. That's why. They were cheated out of those championships. So the question is that the severe punishment? Is that a severe enough punishment for the Astros and the Red Sox? Is that a severe punishment? Here's the other question. New England, like I said, throughout all those scandals, including the most recent one, should they have a similar punishment? Should that punishment be that their World Series title, not World Series, but their Super Bowl championships should be revoked? Or should their AFC championships, conference championships be revoked? Or should the division championships be revoked? You see, something has to be, taken away. Something has to be, removed from the equation. And a lot of people would probably argue that if you don't want to take away the Super Bowl championships, take away the conference championships. But then again, that doesn't make sense since they won the conference to get to the Super Bowl. So what would be the next logical step? The next logical step obviously would be taking away the division championships. That would be the next logical step. But again, what is it? What is the severe punishment? What kind of severe punishment is enough for teams like the Astros, the Red Sox possibly, and even the Patriots? What, punishment is severe enough? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you'd like. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and I will talk to you later. But let me know what you think is a severe punishment for all three teams. Let me know down below, and I'm out.